We're now heading to Duke's Hotel Bar in Mayfair, hangout of legendary Ian Fleming of James Bond fame and one of London's top martini joints to speak with head bartender Alessandro Palazzi. Duke's has put its own spin on the martini, and key to its success has been its early support of local microdistillers to take their cocktails to the next level. So Alessandro.
Welcome to Dukes.
Thank you very much. This is a world-famous bar. New York Times even says that it's one of the best places on the planet to get a martini.
Wow, that's absolutely right.
And other people talk about not just the martinis, but also the personalized cocktails. What do you think Duke's does that separates itself from everybody else?
First of all, the way we serve the martini, as you can see, with a little trolley here. So we do table service. My predecessor came out with this idea. Sometimes people think, even last night someone said to me, "Is it you invent the martini?" And I went, "I wish." What we did, we changed the way we serve the martini. And what we do, we freeze the glass. So you will see in a few minutes. We freeze the glass, we freeze the gin or the vodka, and we use organic lemon from the Amalfi. So we use quite a simple, but with a little bit of theatre and communication with the customer. But also we do one of the main first rule of the martini. It's got to be served very cold. That's why we freeze the glass and the spirit. How about now if I make you the classic gin martini?
I thought you'd never ask.
Stefano?
Yeah.
So you see what we're doing here is frozen glass.
Beautiful.
My favorite gin, Sacred, from Highgate. So this is how Dukes became more popular. Normally martini you stir. If you're James Bond you shake. But Dukes we decide, because that's the step most important, very cool. Here we hide the vermouth I was talking about,
right,
which Sacred Distillery make especially for us with our formula. And the unusual thing is got also made with English wine.
Yeah.
And then my only question will ask you, Christine, how dry would you like it, vermouth-wise?
I like it dry.
Dry.
Very dry.
So what we do, we add a few drops of, in this case, the Sacred dry vermouth. And this vermouth, like I said, it's not commercial. And then what I do, I just sort of rim the frozen glass. So some of the vermouth will stay there, the other one I discharge. And I clean the carpet, because this is my second job. I'm the carpet cleaner.
That's one of your many hats that you wear, right?
And then this gin, and for instance, what I like about this in the martini, it's not straight in your face. The fact this is cold and vacuum distillation is quite soft, and the frankincense. And then the thyme, it's got a kind of a taste which is beautiful. This is one of the gin, for instance, always recommended for before dinner.
So you have gins that you like at different times of the day?
Different times of the day, indeed. Some,
wow,
for instance, after dinners, I recommend always a stronger gin. I have some gin which, well, this one, the alcohol content is around 40. I have some other gin which they're 47, 47 and a half. Or some other gin which is the juniper, is very, very, very quite strong on the taste. Well, this one is rather soft.
So this is an early in the day gin?
Early in the day, early before dinner. That's when I like to use Sacred. And then all I do is I do a very quite big lemon zest. Amalfi Coast organic. This is very important.
I was going to say, those are like the nicest lemons I think I've seen in a long, long time.
But you see what I do? I squeeze the oil out. Now, one of the things that's happened with this beautiful gin, once we freeze it, the alcohol, you saw when I was pouring, it's a bit like honey. It's become thicker. That allowed me, when I squeeze the oil out, the oil will float on top. So what comes to your nose is not the smell of the gin. You will taste the gin. You will feel the gin. It's actually the smell, the aroma of the lemon.
It's beautiful. Wow. It's a masterpiece. I don't know that I...
Thank you. And
I feel almost sad to drink such a piece of artwork.
The Sacred gin.
But I will. Wow. Delicious. Alessandro, tell me a little bit about the martinas. You do Duke's Martinas, which is a little bit different than most, and you're using a different gin. I guess in this case you're using the Sacred gin?
Indeed. Martinez for me is the original martini. There are so many stories about how martini was created. Again, like I told you earlier on, someone thought I invented martini, which I wish. For me, the martini came from the town of Martinez. And if you look at the recipe of the Martinez, they were using a kind of red vermouth. Because, again, the vermouth was created in Torino. That's where Stefano came from. He's from Torino.
So I guess it's good that he's making the drink.
Indeed. So, Stefano, if you make the Martinez, and that's the first vermouth from Italy went to the States. And also the gin in those days, they will use what the style of gin, Old Tom gin, which is coming back in fashion. For me, Old Tom gin, it was a bad gin, bad distillery, add sugar, so there was no wastages. And it's not my favorite style of gin, Old Tom gin. I use Sacred, and I'll show you, Stefan, if you give me the bottle of Sacred, the reason why I use, because one of the interesting things about this gin is the frankincense. So Ian and Elixrr, they came out with a recipe from the 1600s. As you know, gin, it wasn't an original English thing, it was a Dutch thing from William the Orange. William the Orange, a Dutch king, he became the ruler in England. So he brought the Genevieve. Without going through all the story, but then the English, they shot for gin, and they started add botanical. But one of the things they used to put in the 1600 would be resina, because they thought they purify the body. Now, very clever, Ian put frankincense from Oman. So the actual recipe, even if the micro distillery is relatively new, but it's the inspiration from the 1600s. So even before the Martinez, that's why I like to use it. And also the taste is quite soft. So I can actually add, sorry Stefano, as Stefano makes it. So what Stefano is doing, he put a few drops of orange bitter. The reason why we call it the Duke style is because like our martini, it's all done from the freezer.
Right.
So it's not shaken or it's not stirred, it's supposed to be done. But again, with the frozen glass, with the frozen gin, then he puts red vermouth and Sacred gin. Sacred gin, as you tasted before, is quite soft. And then the maraschino. Now the maraschino is an Italian liqueur, very old, quite sweet. So we can always add some with a few drops. And then the lemon. So in honor a little bit of the martini, which the Martinez, but also again to talk about the gin, a macro distillery, which otherwise you don't know, and give a little bit of history as well, without patronize of the gin.
How many different gins do you have
At the
currently?
moment about 12, and then I'm always looking for something new. Like I said earlier on, gin is becoming kind of fashionable. So there's a lot of gin, and because of our reputation, I do have a lot of people come every week. So with the gin or the vodka, normally what we do, first of all, there's 5 of us here. We taste and we see what we think. If we think it's good, then we, some of our regular customers, when we do the martini, etc., we ask their opinion. And that's how we take from there. So I often always look, especially the smaller producer, that's why I'm always looking for something a little bit more original with passion.